We'll bring you details of that story much later in our bulletins. Now, as predicaments of the cedi continues with a major decline against the dollar with no end in sight, the majority leader is urging businesses to refrain from changing their cedi into dollar as its strength is gathering momentum. Now, the cedi has seen major depreciation against foreign currencies and has been projected to decline towards the 20 cedis mark before close of year by currency analysts. But Alexander Afenyo-Markin says businessmen will soon regret opting for the dollar.
Perhaps I may have to urge businessmen not to be changing their cedi into dollar because the rate will be coming down. When it happened in 2022, a lot of people lost money because people who were responding to the pessimism of the NDC at the time, that the Ghanaian economy, was collapsing and there was no future for the economy, and rise to change their dollar at the rate of 14 and 15. When the dollar dropped, the rate dropped to 8. Here we were. They had lost huge sums of money. So I will encourage Ghanaian businessmen, individuals, not to rush to respond to the pessimists. They should be optimistic. I know what the government is doing.
Now to some more stories. In a powerful testament to the unifying role of traditional leadership, the historic visit of the Asantehene Otumfuo Asietutu II to the Ga State underscored the vital contributions of chieftaincy to peace and national development. Now, as the December 7 elections approach, this renewed bond between the Ga and Asante leaders promises to inspire a spirit of collaboration and progress, crucial for the nation's future. There's more in this report.
Drumming and dancing, the display of colorful regalia and vibrant appellations showcased the rich, authentic cultures of the Ga and Ashanti people during the historic visit of Asantehene Otumfuo Asietutu II to the Ga State. This momentous event reciprocated an earlier visit by the Ga King to the Ashanti Kingdom celebrating Otumfuo's 25 years of reign. It marked the second such historic exchange following a similar visit by the then Gamanche in 1946. The visit not only rekindled strong cultural ties, but also provided a platform for the two leaders to advocate for peace and unity, especially with the December elections approaching.
Yenyina enkran Asante ebuno ehinefa esrem yenyina na yekabo prince ye betrem wo Ghana ha sei enti Asante ne nkran eye asade se yekabo mu na magana yeye ya na yenyina e wo Ghana so wo se yekabo mu enen kabo mu ne yimpuntuo na wo ho eko aye ko ne no yesade be ya ye manfo benya ahoto ene adwuma ye minim zaga manche Asantehene yenyeje ntobo amfiri obi aho na emom kwaye bedi animo e betumi aka ma bibia bade e wo se yasade se ye.
Demonstrating his commitment to education, the Asantehene Otumfuo Asietutu donated 500,000 Ghana cedis to an educational fund, reinforcing his dedication to quality education.
Me ho bibia hia bia wo so masuti bia ka ye beto ato adwene ne aboa na mena ye. Me nim so mo education fund wo haya. So wo bi dia me discover tum oni bi so a mema ne ska dia to ase no afiti ase aye. Ti me no 500,000 Ghana cedis, 5 billion. Now on fan to ase se bi on so aye de betum no dia yes.
For many others who visited the Ga Manche Palace, they were delighted by the rich display of culture, feeling a deep sense of pride and connection to their heritage.
It was beautiful. The unity, I think, is what I'm taking away. How people from different cultures are able to come together, unify, and just want the best for their country.
The cultural display and kind of unity. If you see this, like as a Ghanaian, I'm happy. People like two kings coming together to unify, let's say, the two states.
It was good because this is culture. This is our culture. I think these things needs to be like kind of every day today in Ghana's life.
The leaders' commitment to peace, unity, education, and fostering a spirit of collaboration promises to resonate long after this feat. Noble Crosby and TV3 News, Accra.
We'll stay on the royal visit now, and political science historian Professor Samuel Idujemfi says the role of traditional authorities in the governance of the country cannot be overemphasized. He said traditional leaders can do better in the development of the country than the political class and must be allowed to do their bit.
Yes, the Constitution severs the traditional leaders from playing active political role in that respect. However, within their traditional states, they have the responsibility to conduct themselves within the remit of the traditional, if you like, customs and practices that set them in place. Chief kings, rulers in this realm must be blameless. They must have a certain character that befits their offices. And when they are able to do that, our political actors within the MPP and the NDC will not use their fever pitch politics to just sway us off the line of development, to go into the realm of insults, or to come to the individual, members of the state to vote for them. And when after we have voted, they just go to sleep. Okay. When our traditional leaders have enough clout, both customarily and also in the way they position themselves within the state, right, they can get our political actors to contribute to our development.
Now, the story of Osu Ashanti is unique as it hosts a group of people that traces their origin to the ancient Ashanti kingdom. Their colors, names and language hold similar cultural and historical connections with the Ashantis. Christian Yali tells their story following the historic visit of the Asantehene to the Ga State.
Drumming and dancing, the display of colorful regalia and vibrant appellations showcased the rich, authentic cultures of the Ga and Ashanti people during the historic visit of Asantehene Otumfuo Osei II to the Ga State.
Formed by large numbers of Ashanti hostages who were seized or captured after the Battle of Katamanso in 1826, the people of Osu Ashanti have lived in the heart of Accra for nearly 2 centuries. They recognize themselves with the yellow color or gold, just as the Ashantis, and perform their traditional functions using the Asante tree. In Osu, the Ashantis form one of the quarters believed to have settled here from different ethnic backgrounds, particularly from Shai Osudoku.
Our color is yellow, which we call it blohum. And the Ashantis also use yellow because of their gold. Our forefathers who married most of the Ashantis, and they brought them to this vicinity. So most of our our Asafo songs too are in Tree and Ashanti.
Akan names like Yabua, Ajiman, and Prempe are common in Osu Ashanti, one that defines the long-held relationship between them and the Ashantis.
We have names like Yabua, we have the Ajiman, the Prempes too, from the Banamans family.
I will be happy if the Asantehene visits Osu to interact with the elders because of our history. I also wish he visits the Tetekwashi house to see his family.
In telling the story about the relationship between Ashantis and Gans, the history behind Osu Ashanti is one that really holds some significance.
The royal visits of the Asantehene to the Ga Manche is one that the people of Osu Ashanti pride themselves in. What is assured is that this would go a long way to deepen the existing relationship between the people of Osu Ashanti and the typical Ashantis, if you may. Achomi Christian Yale, Mincha Adafine Kenje, Osu Ashanti.
Interesting report by Christian Yali there. But in other news, the Divisional Executive Council of the National Identification Authority, NIA, of the Public Services Workers Union of the Trade Union Congress has declared an indefinite strike. Now, the strike, according to the union, is over the government's failure to show good faith in their negotiation process for better conditions of service. A letter dated June 9, signed by the council chairman and secretary Francis Bangfudemi and Kwabena Edu Treme, tasked all members to lay down their tools effective June 10, 2024 until the demands are met. Now, earlier this year, the union deferred its intended strike scheduled for March 20. Intervention of the Minister of Employment and Labour Relations. Let's do some more stories now. Lead convener for the Dumso Must Stop Vigil, Yvonne Nelson, says a call for an end to the crisis was triggered by at the Tema General Hospital. She asked the government to put in measures to mitigate the power shortage in order to save lives. Frederick Kunzotiani was at the protest and reports.
It was a charged atmosphere as some Ghanaians thronged the University of Ghana entrance to express their displeasure over current intermittent power challenges. Parts of the country have been plagued since frequent power outages, thereby affecting lives and business. The protesters carried different placards with various inscriptions to register their discomfort. One of the league conveners, Yvonne Nelson, denied claims of the protests being politically motivated.
In Ghana, everything has to do with party colors. If it's not MPP, it's NDC. I'm hoping that one day see beyond the party colors and speak up, because the more we're doing this, the more the politicians are taking advantage of us. So whether you belong to NDC or MPP, if you see something going on that you feel like is wrong, you need to speak up.
For comedian Derek Hobnat-Bonny and John DeMello, the refusal by other celebrities to show up shows how partisan they are.
We can no more say the right thing. We can no more fight the right cause. If it's not going in favor of your party, it's political. But when it was going in favor of the party, it was a Ghanaian cause. It was a general public cause. Come on, man. We were almost 30 celebrities. Today, how many are we? Tell you. Some people can't bite the hand that feeds them.
Find money to buy the fuel. Find money to keep the lights on. Give us a timetable. We know you don't have the money because you squandered it. But just give us a timetable so that we can plan our lives. It's as simple as that. Other than that, just get out.
Some participants called on the government to take measures to mitigate the situation.
Kaswa, for instance, midnight, the only thing you could see is the light is off. We are suffering in this country. Some of us are having co-stores. Imagine we are losing a lot. Our fridges are spoiled.
We've paid for light, but you wake up and the light is off. Is that a good thing?
Every 2 minutes, the light is taken off. So just imagine what happens to those who keep things in the fridge. So it is very bad, very, very bad.
The protests started from the entrance of the University of Ghana and ended at the Tetekwashi roundabout.
On health, Presidential Advisor on Health, Dr. Anthony Ansia Asari, says government will start commissioning some of the 111 hospital projects on the agenda in the third quarter of this year. Now, speaking on hot issues with Kemni Amano, now, Dr. Asari revealed that some of the projects were 90% complete and are set to be operationalized to enhance quality healthcare delivery before the year ends.
Are there actual timelines associated with this project?
Yes, because you see what we are doing in Agenda 111, you realize that we didn't start all the 111 at the same time. For example, as we speak now, the regional hospital, there's 7 of them. I think it's only one which is running because Ministry of Health has a project for Takoradi one. The rest are on hold. We've done the value for money. It's at Ministry of Finance because of the debt restructuring and IMF. So immediately we end the debt restructuring, which I know that's going to be this month ending. The contractors will then complete the negotiations and move to site.
I see.
The other side,
So when do you think that any hospital or facility under the project could be concluded?
In the third quarter of this year, we'll start commissioning some of them.
Now, TV3 has gathered that the Global Fund has expressed its displeasure with the ongoing situation regarding the non-clearance of its donor-funded essential health commodities at the country's port for over a year. The fund at the just-ended World Health Summit in Geneva sent a strong signal to the Ghanaian delegation that it may sever ties with the country if the commodities are not cleared as a matter of urgency. A report by Sarah Aprinkro.
The delay in clearing the medications has been attributed to the government's inability to provide funding to cover the cost of ECOWAS and African Union levies on the drugs. These crucial commodities from the Global Fund aimed at supporting HIV, TB and malaria programs have been sitting at the port since May last year, causing increasing concern with some civil society organizations threatening to demonstrate. Stakeholders for months have warned that the country may run out of antiretroviral and other critical medications. Our checks reveal the country is experiencing imminent shortages of TB and HIV drugs at health facilities. Concerns have also been rife as Ghana risks not receiving further supplies of essential medical commodities if challenges in the clearance of donor commodities at the ports persist.
We have impressed upon government as hard as we can, but it looks like government is simply not interested. Government is simply not listening. And at this point, we just don't know what to do again. Some will be expiring in early first quarter 2025. So we're going to have a situation where a lot of the commodities will go unused. You are given medications, you fail to use them, and then when they expire, you still go back to the same donor and ask for money to dispose of the medicines. It doesn't speak well of us as a country.
According to the interim chairman of the country coordinating mechanism, the Global Fund has threatened to take a drastic decision.
Since the establishment of Global Fund in 2002, this is the first time they are witnessing such a situation. The Global Fund is very much worried about this situation. So they told the health minister that if the commodities are not cleared, they are going to sever ties with Ghana because they have run out of excuses to their donors when they ask them about what is happening in Ghana.
Though the government maintains the containers of drugs at the port have been cleared, the Global Fund country coordinating mechanism says otherwise.
So what we are told is that after waiving the taxes, there were some third-party charges that amounted to about 7 million Ghana cedis. And so we negotiated with the Global Fund and asked them if they can support us with some payment. So they did. The expectation is that it will trigger the clearing of the goods. The last meeting we had with the grant manager in Geneva during the World Health Assembly, in the words of the grant manager, this is an existential issue. They are intending to sever relationships, but they are only hanging on because of the people of Ghana.
Meanwhile, Presidential Advisor on Health, Dr. Anthony Siasari, has reassured the government's commitment to clear the commodities at the port, though he's unable to give a timeline.
It's an unfortunate situation. We are still working on it. Because if you leave things in the port for a long time, it will create damages. That's where the problem is. We are finding a solution to it. Anybody who is listening to me that is supposed to do something about it should just sign the paper and let us move on and clear all of them from the port.
Stakeholders remain frustrated, and government seems to have no clue about the situation, as the lives of patients who depend on the drugs for survival remain in the balance. Sarah Penkro, TV3 News, Accra.
Now in sports, the Black Stars of Ghana will later today play a crucial World Cup. And that's how we wrap up the 6 a.m. news right here on TV3. My name is Judith Brown. A pleasure coming to you always. Good morning. We'll go for a short break and we're back with the rest of the news.